Today I want to illustrate a horse training principle that we call reward the smallest change and the slightest try. Now, you don't use this in every situation. There are two situations where you use this principle. The first one is when you're teaching something new to the horse. Reward the smallest change and the slightest try. The other situation where you use it is if the horse is afraid of something and you're trying to get the horse to approach something or to deal with that fear. So let me try to illustrate both of those. Probably the first thing I would think of in rewarding the smallest change would be if you had a baby foal and you were trying to teach that baby foal to lead. And so the right way to do it, the old time way, of course, people just drag that little colt and drag it around, which is, you're not really teaching the horse very much. The right way to do it would be to put a halter on that little baby foal, stand over to the side like this, and then just put a little bit of pressure on that lead rope. And as soon as that baby foal just turned her head towards you, let it go. And then let that horse think about it for a few seconds. And then reach up and put a little more pressure on that baby foal this time. Reward the smallest change right there and the slightest try. Drop it. Now, obviously, this is an older horse who knows how to lead. But in the beginning, like with a baby foal, you might take 5 days or 6 days or 7 days to teach that little baby to lead. And if you'll do it just a little bit at a time and let that foal figure out what you're doing, then you'll have a horse that leads real nicely and easily and confidently rather than jerking and dragging it around. Let me show you another example with this mare. I like to teach all of my horses to drop their head down. And I don't know if she knows this or not. She's so short, I've never really tried it with her. But what I try to do is when I push between their ears, I want them to put their nose all the way down on the dirt. And when you first start teaching that, put your hand here, you put your hand between her ears, put just a little bit of pressure, and they move just a little bit, take your hand away and rub them. Reward the smallest change and the slightest try. Now, did she put her nose on the dirt? No. It might take 30 minutes. It might take 3 or 4 days for her to learn this before she understands that when I do that, I want her nose all the way down on the ground, like that. Reward the smallest change and the slightest try. So with anything that you're teaching a horse that is new, you cannot expect the horse to do it well in the beginning. Here's another example. If I'm going to teach this horse to yield her hindquarters, and what I want her to do, the end result is I want her to move her hindquarters in a 360-degree circle, keeping her right foot planted. That would be the ultimate goal. But in the beginning, when I first teach it, if I get just a little bit of movement out of those hindquarters, if I reach back here and look at them and maybe twirl the rope or whatever cue I'm going to use, if I get even any movement at all right there, I quit. That's a long way from a 360-degree spin. Reward the smallest change and the slightest try. Then I can come back and ask her for a little bit more. I want 2 steps, okay? All right? And so, with a young horse who doesn't know this, the more you can break it down, the slower and the smaller steps you can do it, the faster that horse will learn it. Now let me show you how to use this principle, reward the smallest change and the slightest try, when your horse is trying to overcome a fear, or more likely, you're trying to get the horse to overcome a fear of something. And so I laid this tarp out, and I don't know how much fear this little mare is going to have, but I think you can get the idea. Imagine that's water that you're trying to cross on a trail ride and your horse is afraid of water, or a big rock that they're afraid of, or something like that. So I'm not going to expect a horse, if she's afraid of it, then I can't just get behind her and start whipping on her, which is what a lot of people do. Horses afraid of something, and they'll just start whipping the horse to try to make them go across that. And all you're doing is making them more afraid, because they're already afraid of it. They look at it, and then all of a sudden they're getting pain, and they think, oh no, that's causing me pain. I really should be afraid of it. So you're actually making it worse if you whip your horse when the horse is afraid of something. So I'm just going to lead her up to this, and we'll see if she's afraid of it. I don't know if she will be or not. But if she is, okay, she's not. But what she did do was stop and smell it. So if she were afraid of it, I would reward the slightest little thing that she did. If she just dropped her head right there, if she just dropped her head and looked at it, then I would reward that. And if she backed up, I'd put a little pressure on her, and which is typical what many young horses will do. If they're afraid of something, they'll sniff at it and then they'll start backing up. So then all I would do is I'd pressure her forward, pressure her forward, and if she just stopped right there, then I would reward that. And you know, I might not get if a horse is really scared, I might not get them to cross that tarp the first day. I might just spend 20 minutes and all I do is get the horse to come up and paw it with their front foot. And if that's all I can get the first day, I'm going to reward that. And then each time you do it, you can expect a little more and a little more, but you have to reward the smallest change and the slightest try. If you don't, then your horse will be confused and your horse will not understand what you are asking them to do.